Everyone, thank you for being here in attendance. It is the May 18th, 2026 Commissioners meeting for the month of May. If we can, we would like to call the meeting to order and roll call attendance, please. Catherine, if you mind.
Sure.
Thank you.
Chair Patricia Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Tyler.
Here.
Commissioner Katerina.
Here.
Commissioner Gordon.
Here.
And Commissioner Cloutier.
Present.
Excellent. We do have a majority. Thank you all for being here. The next on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. Those who would like to join me, please do so.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. This evening, we have several sets of minutes. I'll read each one, and we'll vote on each one. And just to make a point of clarification, we don't always have 4 sets of minutes, but it's better to get them right, take a little bit more time if we need to make sure they're as accurate as possible. So I appreciate the diligence and the accuracy involved. So first on the approval of minutes, we have CD 26-010. That's the approval of the minutes of the March 16th, 2026 executive session of the Board of Commissioners. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. It passes. Second is CD 26-011. That's the approval of the minutes from March 16th, 2026, the meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by, I'm sorry, is it okay, Catherine? I didn't call it out. Did you get those? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. The third is CD 26-015. That's the approval of the minutes, April 21st, 2026, meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Excellent. And no comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. And the last set of minutes, CD 26-016, approval of the minutes of May 7th, 2026, and the special meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Very good. Thank you all for approving and reading through those minutes. Next, we have comments from the public. Remind folks that the comments are made on items that are not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes to speak, and we have a total time of an hour to spend here if we need it. So I'd ask anyone who'd like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and where you reside, and we're happy to hear from you.
My name is Denise Schwartz. I'm from Scarborough, and this really is what I want to say. I know this has been a really hard, complicated issue, and I just want to say thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Denise.
Is there anyone? Yep.
I'm Christopher Smick, also from Scarborough. What she said.
Thank you. The brevity is appreciated, I guess, on a nice spring night. Thank you both for your comments. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak? All right, seeing none. The public comment is closed for this evening. Thank you so much for speaking here this evening. The next on the agenda is the consent agenda part of our calendar this evening. We have several items. I'll read through those unless any commissioner needs to take anything out or pull anything out that they want to before I start. I see no comment. First on this consent agenda, I see 26-048. That's the Sheriff's Office Commissions, February 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2026. Next up is item 26-049. That is to amend the Administrative Regulations number 13 Hazard Communication Program. Next is 26-050. That is the Cumberland County EMA request for the Board of Commissioners to authorize signature of the EMA Mutual Aid Agreement pending its signature by municipalities. Next is 26-051. That's the reappointment of Peter Coyne to the Cumberland County Board of Assessment Review for a 3-year term from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2029. And next up is 26-052. Correct the reappointment term for the Board of Assessment Review member David Silk from 7/1/2026 to 6/30/2029 to 7/1/2025 through 6/30/2028. That's pretty confusing right there, that's all I gotta say. That's a lot of numbers. Okay, the next item is 26-053, and that's to adopt the new Appendix G2 suspension and debatement policy and procedure appendix to administrative regulations number 16, accepting grants and other funding sources. Then we have item 26-054, authorizing the county manager to sign the dispatch contract with the town of Cumberland. Those are the items we have for consent agenda.
Move passage.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a first by Commissioner Cludier, a second by Katerina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, was there any public comment on that? I should have asked. Was there public comment on that? Okay, great.
No public comment on consent.
Thank you. All right, next we have our new business, 26-055. That's the approval of the FY27 Cross Insurance Arena Operational Budget and Trustee Budget. County Manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. We are bringing forth the FY27 Cross Insurance Arena Operations Budget. This differs in the Cross Insurance Arena budget that you all approved during the approval of the general fund and jail budgets in March and subsequently in earlier this month. The Cross Insurance Arena budget within the county's budget is based on the bond from the renovations back in 2012 and the trustees' budget. And after the General Manager LeConte presents the operations budget, I will present the trustees' budget, which is reflective of what's already been approved in the county's budget. But back in April, Mike presented his budget to the Board of Trustees at the arena. The arena is forwarding a unanimous recommendation to the county commissioners for approval. And this evening, Mike is here with us to go over the budget proposal. I will make mention that before he starts that typically on an operations budget for the arena, the budget is always in the negative. And so do not be surprised if you see some red parentheses on this budget. It is one that, at least I can give you the last 4 years, we've been in the negative to start off, like $300,000. And Mike and his team have always turned it around, and we have ended up in the black the last 4 years. So kudos to Mike and his staff, and we're hoping for another year like that. I think he's already starting off on a strong footing come July 1st. But I'll stop there and pass it on to Mike LeConte, the general manager of the arena.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Again, Mike LeConte, General Manager of the Cross Insurance Arena. I've been with the arena for 11 years on various management levels, and have been GM for about 4.5. I do know a lot of you pretty well. For those that don't, as Jim said, normally this building, it's a very expensive building to run, runs in the red every year. It has been for, I think, about almost 20 years. What we've been able to do over the last few years is diversify the portfolio of the different events that we bring in. It's not so much cookie cutter anymore. We try to bring in unique shows with the intent of hoping they do very well year one and they come back year 2 or every other year thereafter. One example is Jurassic Quest. It's a dinosaur show for kids. We had it 3 years ago, sold over 14,000 tickets. Haven't had them in 3 years. I have them back coming the end of this summer, so that'll be being announced shortly. So feeding into what I was talking about, the diversified portfolio of events, we do try to make it unique and fun for families, fun for the community, fun for those looking for a great sporting or concert event to come to the arena. I'm just going to highlight where we're at this year and then segue into the budget for next year. This particular year, we're wrapping up very well with obviously the Mariners into the playoffs, so that is helping with this existing fiscal year budget quite a bit. This particular year we're in right now had approved a budget of a loss of $304,000. Right now, we're sitting at a loss of about 98,000, so we've been able to have a swing of variance in our favor of 219,000. And that's due to, again, shows that we've never done before, such as Boston Bruins alumni game. We've had that in the past, but we never had Tim Thomas come for a pre-show event to sign signatures, and we were able to donate $10,000 in support of the Center for Grieving Children. So it was a great event for the community as well, but for hockey fans, it was quite a night, especially having Tim Thomas in the house. And you know, we have a small staff, but we have a large part-time staff, and they're all working very hard. This past February was no stranger to a lot of the team. February 12th, we had almost a sold-out Globetrotters game. 100th anniversary segued the next night into Jeff Dunham, and then the next day into the alumni game that I spoke about. So 3 games in a row, lights were on, we were making money with popcorn and pizza being sold. Just want to highlight some of the major events of the existing fiscal. John Mulaney came back last summer. In September, we had 4 conferences, one of which was the Bernie Sanders rally. We had a Maine Health Conference, and we had an NFP leadership training event, as to name some of them that came to our arena to do their particular conference that they normally do at like a Holiday Inn or other places. They decided to come to our arena. It was great. So that spawns word of mouth, and we have other folks that are in line to hopefully bring their conference or trade show to the venue. We also promoted our very first rodeo. It was called Bulls and Broncos. I say very first rodeo that we promoted, we bought it. Prior to, we had the national touring rodeo that would come through. Haven't seen them in a few years, so we decided to go out and buy one and promote it ourselves. We did real well with it, and it's coming back again this fall. We had Rock Show Trivium, a great dual country show with Scotty McCreery and Dustin Lynch. We had a sold-out Books A Million event with Dave Pilkey, the author, and that was our first author event that we've had, at least since I've been there, and did very well, and that was with Books A Million, and we already have a few other bookstores looking at us for potential author engagements as well. We also had the Rock Orchestra by Candlelight, which was the first time for our venue. 3 UMaine hockey games, 2 men and one women's game. We had a self-promoted holiday concert with 12 OC, and which was successful, again, self-promoted. And wrapping up this year, like I said, we have the Mariners in the middle of a great playoff run. Barry Manilow was supposed to play in April. He is coming back, hopefully at the beginning of next year, so fingers crossed that happens. This week, AEW Pro Wrestling. We haven't had WWE in a while, so we went and partnered with AEW, All Elite Wrestling, which is not so much built for fans, but it's built for broadcast. So their base is pay-per-view, and it's being broadcast this week, Wednesday night on HBO, TBS, and TNT. So looking forward to that. Hopefully the internet stays up for that event. We're closing out with Onward MMA. We've had a lot of fan engagement in that, wondering what it is, and it has converted into tickets being sold. So I'm curious to see how the Onward MMA event goes. We just finished the colleges, just had a run of our college graduations, and now we're heading into the high school graduations. And again, this year we're looking currently at a forecast of a loss of 98,000. Again, we were approved for a loss of 304,000, so we're chipping away at that deficit, hopefully getting into the black. 2027, same mission. Looking for 100 shows. That seems to be the sweet point for us as far as making it to be a break even. We're looking at this year off to a good start, like Jim was saying. We have a Princess concert in July for children, selling very well. July 24th and 25th, we have 2 sold-out shows with Billy Strings, which is fantastic. Sold-out shows in July when we're normally, closed doing renovations. We'll take that. August 13th, Brandy Carlisle, very few tickets left for that. I mentioned Jurassic Quest, I mentioned Bulls and Broncos coming back. Black Keys are scheduled for October. That's another marquee rock event, excellent ticket sales. Hot Wheels Monster Trucks is coming back after a 2-year hiatus. And we're also doing in October a Motorsports Classic, which is very similar to like a car show. We haven't had one of those in a while, so we're organizing an event for October 31st with that. And for the rest of 2027, it's a typical pipeline of hopefully high-profile concerts, sporting events, and other civic bookings that we're shooting for. The bottom line on the, Jim, if you could scroll to the bottom of that for me. You see on the bottom,
Don't forget, Mike, July 3rd, Barry Manilow's postponed to.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Super important.
Jim brings that up because he's very proud of me for booking that, so.
We know he's a fan.
My wife.
Yeah. It's really Jim. It's blaming on him.
His wife and my wife.
He's feeling good right now, fingers crossed, knock on wood. So, for 2027, if we look at the above overhead here, we're projecting $318,500 loss for the year coming up if we book everything that is on target at the moment. That's about $14,000 different than the previous year's budget that was approved. And obviously the goal is to not finish in the red. We do our best to eliminate that by booking additional shows and additional content. We've had great success with it, and we're going to try to continue that same model on a go forward. So at that current juncture, we're looking at similar numbers to this year. Some of the items that are making things a little bit better going into 2027, this year we had built out our grab and go concession stands, which are in the Free Street and Spring Street hallways. Jim graciously helped me build out those two areas and invested $24,000 into register tables and shelving and presentation materials. And already this year in hockey alone, we generated almost $200,000 in those concession stands specifically. We've also expanded our partnerships with our local non-for-profits, non-for-profit organizations, which we have paid out over $192,000 to the NFPs for helping man the concession stands, which has been awesome. Also, Clink, I have to have a runner-up there, over $5,000 in recycled cans, which has been a help, and that money goes right back into our revenues here to try to offset the expenses of our building. We're looking at basically $3.5 million to run the building this year. It's up a little bit from the existing year, just based on the fact that our costs obviously are not getting any cheaper for staffing, all of our utilities and everything that goes into running that building. So what was about $1 million and a half to run the building a decade ago is over $3 million now. We're doing our best to mitigate those expenses, and by maintaining our current equipment and trying to make the life cycle of that equipment last longer, instead of having to dip into any of our operating funds or request additional capital funds, we're trying to make what we have just last longer. So we work hard at that as well. So basically, in a nutshell, we're just looking to improve our financial performance. We're trying to maintain a busy calendar and place strategic operational enhancements along the way, which hopefully saves us money and affects the bottom line, so that we do not finish at negative $318,000. So that's our mission for this year. That's our budget. Please, any questions you have for me, now is a great time.
Great, excellent. Thank you for that rundown of the budget and explanation. Any commissioners, any questions? Go ahead.
This doesn't have much to do with money, I'm afraid to say, but I'm pretty sure I have relatives that are going to demand to know how they could go through a ticket purchase process for some of the shows. Probably Brandy Carlisle would come up in that conversation. What is do we use an a ticket vendor that in addition to whatever happens at the box office, and how does that all work?
Yeah, so we are contracted right now with Ticketmaster, which has their fees when you buy a ticket online. What I try to stress to consumers is if you come to the box office to purchase them, there's no Ticketmaster fees, just a facility fee, $3 or $4. And as far as any secondary markets behind Ticketmaster, Freudian slip, we have nothing to do with those, like StubHubs and all of those people that buy tickets in bulk from us. and they go and do what they do on their end, which isn't usually consumer friendly. So we stick to contractually what we're with right now of Ticketmaster, and then selling in the box office directly as well.
And what is the usual hours for the box office?
9 to 4, Monday through Friday, and then we're open during events as well.
Good to know. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Gotta get over there.
Okay, yeah.
Any chance of getting Maine hockey in for a game?
Maine hockey.
University.
Oh, yeah, we're working on that now to try to, we had 3 games with them this season. So we're looking at only one date this upcoming year. We're hoping that it happens. So working on one game right now.
I put a plug in to get a Maine, New Hampshire game.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That'd be a good one.
That would just fill that place.
Yeah, I would love, we had them one time since I've been here and it sold out.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're working on it. So agreed. That would be a great one.
I've
been through the whole budget.
Yeah, I know you have, yeah, you've done the work, and thank you for your volunteer, on your service on that, for sure. And I love how we all like to be armchair quarterbacks for, hey, get this gig, you know, it's like, first of all, I just really appreciate all that you do in terms of, the portfolio. I think that's what's been interesting to watch over the at least 3 years that I've been here. Really balancing things out between family-friendly type events, rodeos and this and that and the other. To me, it feels like having that portfolio has helped us really move in a positive direction rather than depending just on hockey or just on, the escapades or whatever it might be. So thank you for all that work, appreciate it. I don't have any other questions this evening. Can we have a motion on the floor, please, to move this item forward?
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion by Katerina and a second by Steve Gordon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous, it passes. Thank you very much.
Jim, do you want me to stay here while you talk capital or sit down?
Nope, we're gonna talk trustees' budget at this point. And the trustees' budget is based on the budget amount that was part of the county's budget. And there is an operations line there. And it largely is a budget that has been skinny down over the years, especially when the county took over the Cross Insurance Arena. Back in 2017, this budget was much higher than what it is today. So, and this year's budget is a little higher than the previous years, only because I'm showing more information in this year's budget, kind of carrying over what has been budgeted within the county's budget. So, this is one that the trustees work off from. They have a small professional services line. They have a small board meetings line. This year, in actually January 2027 will be the 50th anniversary year. We have allocated some funds into that. That is just an allocation to get some planning going, whether it's signs for the doors or new shirts for the staff, just to market it a little bit that it's our 50th anniversary. There's always $80,000 in that budget for non-debt CIP for the arena. We got an office supplies expense, and then we have the management fees, which the commissioners take action on anywhere from October to December of a given year, and that is dictated by the management agreement, and it's based on a number of benchmarks on how Mike and his team are handling and booking and doing food and beverage and meeting financial goals. We're estimating $118,000 this year. It was $118,000 last year. So that is something that is a given year over year. And then we also, as much as OVG, the management company, has their set of insurances, we also have to have insurances for the building, and they fall within this budget. And all the insurance package total about $140,000. Unlike the majority of our buildings and assets for the county go through the risk pool, we actually go through Cross Insurance. Kind of have to go that route.
That's so crazy.
And they've been fantastic. to deal with. And so this year, I've shown a lot more in this year's budget. It's $380,000. However, if I had shown very similar in previous year's budget, it wouldn't be much of a movement of the needle. But I thought it would be better to show more than less on these budgets. So if I can answer any questions of the trustees' budget. If no questions, I'd ask for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any commissioner have any commissioner have a question?
Passage.
I have this one quick question, yeah, and then I'll make sure that the public has a chance. I guess we have a public in the room. Workers' comp, this is a 140 for package and auto. When I see workers' comp down here, there's nothing there. Is that just assumed it's in that 140,000?
No, that's actually still an old line. We don't have any workers' comp because the county doesn't have any workers. All the workers' comp falls on Mike's side of the ledger.
Ah, okay. Got it.
I could probably delete that someday.
Okay.
We did have one employee, when we took over the arena, we did have one employee, and that was the compliance manager.
Oh, okay.
And that compliance manager's job has moved into my job.
Gotcha. So the unemployment, workers' comp, and those
Is
are
nothing.
really there.
Right. It's pretty much liability and auto.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you for answering that question. Since I see no public, for a public comment, I already asked for the motion before, but they were kind of lumped together, so I guess for clarity, we'll make sure that this passes as well, even though we just did it. Is it best probably to ask for another vote again? Sure, thank you. For a motion for Commissioner Connor and a second by Katerina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous for both of those. The operational budget and the trustees' budget has been approved. Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, very good. Thank you all, and we're gonna move on to the next item. The next item is 26-056. This is authorizing the county manager to award a bid to Info Quick Solutions for the Registry of Deeds Records Management System. County manager, do you wanna kick this off?
I will introduce and then pass it off to the Register, Jessica Spalding. Currently, we have a software platform that handles all the recordings that the registry has. And it provides us an online portal for people to view online. There has been some issues in the past that have arisen that we felt it was necessary to kind of look at what other software services could provide, both in functionality and in cost. And so Jessica has been, over the last 3 or 4 months, working through an RFP process that came to an end the 1st of May, and she's bringing forth the vendor, which is Quick Solutions, for the new deeds management system. So hopefully I didn't take too much thunder out of her presentation, but I'll pass it off over to her. I'll pass it over to her and talk about how the RFP and the bidders and things like that.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Jessica Spalding, Register of Deeds. As Jim stated, our contract is coming to an end at the end of the year, and we've worked through some issues with our current vendor, and Jim and I have had a lot of conversations over the past couple of years about seeing what else was out there. So we decided to go out to bid. Thank you, Brianna, for all your help with that process. And Aaron Gilpatrick was involved as well, the IT director. We wanted to kind of change things up a little bit. So currently we purchase our hardware and our software from our vendor, and we decided that we wanted to move the hardware to in-house, meaning that the county IT would be able to service the hardware and provide the hardware. We thought that would be more efficient just for issues that arise. Aaron is literally upstairs usually, so he can run down and help us, but also more cost efficient. So we decided we just wanted to purchase software this time. And we wanted to go with an on-prem server versus having cloud, which a lot of the vendors that had reached out to us were a cloud service, and I just don't think that we were quite ready to jump to that yet. So we did have a couple of vendors that contacted us to do a pre-bid demonstration, and only one of them actually went through the entire process, which is IQS, Info Quick Solutions. They currently have contracts with 11 of the 17 registries in the state, so we're very familiar with their software. Their customer service is top-notch. I reached out to all of the registers that use them, and there was not one poor thing said about them. And I'm very familiar with the salesman. He comes to visit quite often and keeps asking when we're ready to jump ship. So with that being said, we are officially ready to jump ship with your approval. So I wanted to start this process because they do need to set up the software. They need to extract the current data. So we wanted to kind of get ahead of it before the end of the year. So.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you for that explanation. Appreciate it. Could we put the motion on the table, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a first and a second by Tyler. Is there any, no public, right? Is anyone like to speak to this? Yes.
I use this all the time, as you can imagine. So these will be the new providers of the service, so when I go on to do deed searches and whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In January.
In January.
Right, but I'm just saying.
Do you use York County at all? Because that's the
Yes.
same. It's the same. It'll be the same website as
Okay.
them.
Oh,
so,
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I think that their website is actually a little bit easier to use than our current
Yep.
website. So.
Okay, cool.
Yes. But if you'd like to come in, we'll gladly help you as well. So.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I've done that before. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Any other? Yes.
Jessica, is there any chance of all of the 11 others in this county getting together to influence the cost of the software?
Oh, Jim, what do you think about that?
I think the horse is out of the barn. So if we were going out and we were going into a whole new software platform with not having any relationship,
Yeah.
I think you could influence by having a mass bid. But to try to tag team 12 registries with a vendor that's already being used by the registries, I don't think you have any leverage there to get what you want.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, I guess the comment I would make is sometime that's got to roll over, isn't it?
I think that all of the counties are on different schedules for their contracts, so that might be an issue. But I also think it's worth mentioning that going with IQS is actually going to save us money from the current vendor that we're using. So there is a cost savings there.
Yes.
The York County system is really quite user-friendly, and who knows whether we're exploring that as a opportunity to write 2 contracts and shave a little off of each one of them wouldn't be a terrible idea, but in general, I understand what you're saying. Getting 11 counties to admit that the sun comes up in the morning is a pretty
Especially
daunting task.
Yeah, no kidding.
Any other thoughts or questions? I just have 2 questions. One is just a riff off what we're all talking about with consolidation or coming together to join for efficiencies. When we have software upgrades, which we know is part of the game when it's IT, and especially if we have the hardware now, that kind of card is taken away from a vendor. When software updates happen, is there any way to kind of get out in front in terms of when it does happen, when it might happen? Can we then potentially work with other towns to say, can we bundle our software upgrades potentially in like 2 or 3 years down the road, just to keep that on our radar? That might be something, since so many towns already use this current vendor. I know we're on different schedules, but.
Sure. I mean, I think the registers are very good at communicating across the board with that. And IQS has also been really wonderful. I've sat in with a couple of user group meetings that they have with the registers, and they make sure that all of the registries are on the same page.
Right.
So I don't foresee an issue with that, with us.
Possibility, possibly down the road. The other quick question is, when we switch over, January 1st is when we go, how do they do that crossover? I'm always fascinated with, how do you shut down, or, you have double redundancy so people can still access, yet you're still manipulating data. How does that work?
So we haven't quite worked out the bugs on that yet. We're actually hoping to make it like a weekend process. So hopefully maybe we'll be down for a day, similar to when we moved in. So we were only shut down for 1 day. So IQS will come here with their team. Aaron's team will be here, and they'll do the install. And I'm hopeful, just for customer impact, that it won't be more than a day that we would need to be shut down.
Okay,
But
that's good.
but we would give customers plenty of notice.
Is January 1st usually a busy time for you folks or not?
So we are actually hoping to integrate maybe sometime in December.
Okay.
So as long as.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we get the blessing from everybody. IQS had mentioned that maybe January 1st wasn't the best time to move into that transition with the year ending and all of that. So we're hopeful that maybe sometime in the beginning of December.
Yeah, great, that sounds like it makes a lot of sense. Excellent. Very good, thank you for your due diligence with this, and I'm hoping that it brings lots of ease and smooth all the way through. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous, it passes. Thank you very much. Good luck with the migration.
Thank you very much.
We're now looking at comments from the executive staff. Okay, which way you want to go? I guess we'll go counterclockwise, or we'll start with Amy.
Okay. May 1st was the first day of the Maine paid family medical leave. We have had significant interest, probably about 20 additional employees have asked and inquired about the paid family medical leave. It is interesting to see this whole process. It's going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for people to receive payment. And I think once people understand that, I think they'll lose interest, quite frankly, because so many work, paycheck to paycheck, that delay, and that's something that's outside of our hands, will soon frustrate people about that process. It is impacting staffing at the jail. That's where the majority of the inquiries and the leaves have been processed at an already diminished jail. So that the ripple effect on staffing concerns, this has not been helpful. We had our first communication negotiations meeting today. Our goal, my goal, and the union's goal is to come to you in the June meeting for guidance. I think we'll be a little delayed for that July 1st date, but I do think we'll be close. That's when that expires. But I think that'll give us some time that there won't be a whole bunch of back pay issues. I mean, that's always what you try to avoid. And so we're moving that forward. Again, to the jail, we're having a number of labor relations and personnel issues at the jail, and we're working through those as well. So that's, I don't know whether there's highlights or lowlights, but that's HR. Highlights.
Thanks for the update, I appreciate
Yes.
it. Amy, a quick question, like in terms of the staffing at the jail with a Maine family leave, and people applying for that. What's the plan around it? Besides, I hear the news, and the sheriff actually mentioned it last meeting. He was concerned. He's like, I don't know how we're gonna get through the summer. So he called it out too. So in addition to calling it out and saying where we are, what are the plans in place to address?
I wish I knew, because that is something that I gave the operational leadership at the jail several months' notice that we're getting a lot of inquiries.
Yeah.
Which indicates to me that people are going to apply. And so I have not had anyone reach out to me yet to look into any sort of memorandum of agreements or staffing kind of issues. I think they're working through those.
Yeah.
I anticipate that in the next couple of weeks or so. Yeah. We are continuing to hire, but as we said in the previous meeting with the testing, and although it's been very helpful on our turnover on the back end, we are all probably hiring 2 to 3 a month versus, what we were doing about 12 a month. So we still get applications. We're still working through hiring, but I think it's a difficult job to fill, and it's not a job that somebody. It is an entry-level job. We're advertising it as we'll provide training, we'll give you all these, skill sets, but I don't see an interest in going into corrections. As a whole, there's a lot of other opportunities right now that people can select other job opportunities. So we're still plugging away on trying to figure out hiring. We're using social media. We're doing all the things that we have been doing.
And how many are we vacant? Is it around
I had-
15, 20?
So probably 2 weeks
30?
ago. I mean, I haven't looked because I just got back today. We're probably more around the 25.
25?
Sure.
And then there might be some people going on leave.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if York County Jail, they have a lot of people asking for leave there as well? I know HR people talk to each HR people.
I haven't reached out.
Just curious.
I plan to, but I've been gone the past week and a half,
sure.
and it was just implemented like
Right,
4
yeah,
days
one of,
before
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I don't know. I am gonna probably talk with other
Curious, yeah.
municipalities that have similar, like a jail and those sort
Yeah.
of things about what they're doing.
Yeah.
There are options to do a hardship, but I don't think we're there yet. And quite frankly, they'd be able to apply for an unpaid family medical leave.
Right, oh, I know,
legally. So
yeah.
there's not much you can do.
Right, right.
Except
Try to plan.
try to plan and then try to wait it out for people to see that it's not as advantageous and it's not as quick in terms of receiving the money.
And the earnings are less as well.
And the earnings are less. They will be less.
Yeah.
And most, particularly on intermittent family medical leave, they will lose money because that won't count for overtime
Exactly.
calculation.
Right.
So, and that's really the lifeblood of the jail, is
Yeah.
that overtime.
Right.
So.
It's an educational piece for people.
There's a huge educational piece. And the packet that we send out to employees is probably 20 pages of here's all your choices, and it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So Carrie Hall, who is overseeing leaves, has done a tremendous job. And we've had departments reach out, so she and I are gonna go on a road show to kind of explain how it
Exactly,
works.
right.
Even though we've sent emails and we've sent people don't, they do read, they do read all the HR emails, but I don't know if they read all of it, so we're gonna go meet with employees in the next several weeks.
That's great to hear. I mean, I think any new
Yeah.
program, there's a lot of mystery around it, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of excitement because I get time off, and I found in my own business I'm in, it's, it's all, sounds great on paper, and then when you get down to the nitty gritty of applying, and
Yeah.
Affleck, at least on the private side, is handling it, and they look at their paycheck, it's not the same,
It's
and,
not the same.
and so it's like,
Right.
it's not a free ride for sure, but I think that education helps, and maybe it will dampen, or at least create more realism.
Yeah,
for
I've reached out
folks.
to all the union leadership because they usually get questions too, and I've
Sure.
met with some of the union leadership, and not all of them yet, but I plan to.
I just in terms of the staffing, anything we do to plan ahead, as I know,
I agree.
it's been a hard road, and this is obviously gonna create another kink in the armor, so, we'll just stay tuned, I guess. So,
Okay.
thank you for the work, and thank you for the update.
Welcome. Thank you.
Catherine, do you have anything for us tonight?
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, question, sorry, I didn't see your hand, I'm so
yeah, I
sorry.
had a question, Amy, you've talked about the jail. What about the rest of the organization? What do you sense
The
of
rest, it hasn't
getting?
been volume, like where I've seen that significant impact in terms of numbers and percentages has been primarily the jail. The others have been one-offs, so what we've seen actually with the unpaid family medical leave. It's the same thing. It's more long-term like injuries, operations, those sort of things. The jail has now, employees are exploring I'm gonna take care of my neighbor, and I'm gonna.
Elder care.
Those elder care, all those different.
Child
That's gonna be my
care.
question.
As well as trying to, in my opinion, trying to get some time off in the summer.
How about other job classifications in the jail area or in the sheriff's area? How about deputies and so forth?
Patrol, I have not seen, I think we have one, but it was because they were already off, and they just transitioned to the paid. So we have not had a lot outreach for those either, for the others. It's just been primarily corrections.
It'd be interesting to watch that, see.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Hand. Anyone else, questions?
I've just got, and you may have already answered it, or you may not have an answer because we don't have that info. What sort of reasons are they putting in for taking leave? Is there any one primary thing, like I want to be home with my kids,
Well,
or?
it's not to be used for daycare. So that isn't an option.
Okay,
But it's all medical.
It's pretty broad.
Tied, but it is very broad.
okay,
And it does require a doctor to send the certification.
Okay.
So any medical related issues.
Okay.
So if your neighbor is sick or your parents are sick or your children, you.
and you're the only caretaker, in other words, caretaker type things, people want it.
Yeah, or not really that, more like driving them to appointments, those sort of things.
Okay.
Assistance.
Gotcha.
Treatments,
Yeah.
those sort of things.
All right, I was just
Yeah.
curious, all
Yeah.
right, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. All right, now moving to Catherine.
Okay. I just want to share that I worked with Alyssa in finance, and we sent out the warrants to the municipalities last week. It was really quick turnaround, so everyone should have received their updated tax bill.
Oh, good.
That's a big one. Check that out. Good job. Yay.
We were ready.
You look like you're breathing a little bit better. Good job. Thank you for that. Brianna?
So I just want to do a quick update on some regional services that we might be offering, or at least we're talking to municipalities about. Last week, we sent out a code enforcement officer survey for regional code enforcement officer services, and we received about 14 responses, so half the municipalities have already responded, kind of indicating whether they're interested. Most municipalities that did respond had some level of interest depending on how the program would look. It's still really in the early stages, so we don't have a good idea of what it will look like, but we wanted to get some feedback on what the need was. We know that there's a lot of new affordable housing and development laws that are going through the state that have really could impact code enforcement officer services in municipalities and put a big strain on, review. So some of the responses that we got back were about a regional third-party inspector for MUBEC, or electrical inspections or plumbing inspections, which are kind of more statewide, or like statewide, not ordinance and municipality-specific regulations. And it's kind of interesting to think about how the county could form that kind of regional service to provide to municipalities by contract, like we do with other services like assessing and GA. Next week, we're going to send out another survey to municipalities asking about regional HR services and whether there's interest in those kind of things. I know, Amy, you already do talk to a lot of other HR professionals just, as a courtesy and, as to kind of develop things. But we're curious if there's a need for more HR services now that HR programs and employment laws are getting so complicated. In smaller municipalities, there could be a need for additional kinds of assistance or services that are provided like through a regional service, which also could hopefully help, contribute to cost savings as well. Right. So we're going to explore those and see what kind of interest we get back from municipalities, and if there is, we'll go forward. With the code enforcement officer, I also wanted to note that the state has initiated a pilot program for regional code enforcement officer services and has funds designated to that. So we have reached out to, which is now the Maine Fire Marshal. The code enforcement is now under Maine Office of Maine MOCA, Maine Affairs, Community Affairs, Office of Community Affairs, I believe, and they have some funding available for those kind of services as well. I also wanted to just give you a heads up that we're working on a couple of different policies. The county CJIS policy, which is criminal information services, that kind of deals with the criminal justice information services, which is mainly through the CCRCC and the Sheriff's Office. We need to update it because of the federal FBI, right, has instituted new requirements for keeping criminal justice information secure. So I've been working with Erin and some of the departments to update those, and we're hoping to have that one at our next meeting before we have some federal audits to make sure that we have all our policies in place and we're up to speed. But I really do think that they do a great job already. They really know what all the departments seem to be really on top end of keeping criminal justice information secure already. I also wanted to just note that our grants policy has the format of it was kind of envisioned where Alex and the different officers, like with the committees, it doesn't seem to work as well now that we've kind of shifted around some positions in executive. So I was hoping to gather a lot of the grants department together to just kind of look at our grants procedures to see if we can better collaborate and coordinate these kinds of grant applications and that everybody's like on board as well. So that's another policy that might be coming down the line as well, just to give you a heads up. Finally, I know that the Maine County Commissioners Association has started a Title 38 committee, and I volunteered to sit and join them. I've spent a lot of time in Title 38 on the municipal side. I'm still learning a lot with the county side, but it's an area that I'm really interested in. So I'm hoping, and basically the Title 38 committee, I think they haven't met yet, so there's no clear direction on where they're going, but the idea is to get some coordinated legislation to clean up the county statutes, to make sure, I mean, they haven't been touched by the legislature in a long time, like comprehensively, to make sure that county government is doing what it needs to do. So I'm curious to see what kinds of, directions that the committee might take to propose new legislation in the upcoming session to clean it up or change things around if needed. I'm not a policy person, but I'm here to help at least put in my 2 cents on, how it could work. So if you have any thoughts about that, or I'm happy to, convey anything to the committee as well.
Brianna, talking about some of the programs that especially are in the law enforcement area, has anything been brought up about the Vine project?
I have not, can you remind me what the Vine project is? Is that
It's the software in the program where if somebody gets released from jail, the victim gets notified.
Yes, I think I remember hearing some testimony when I was in Augusta about it. I don't know anything about it. I think it's separate from our CJIS policy, like where the CJIS is really governed by federal regulations about protecting information and keeping, your passwords secure and having a system that audits it. It's not very state specific, but I can make sure that it's brought up and incorporated if needed into there.
Well, I would ask you to at least ask the question, because
Sure.
I know that they're working on it and there is some funds to get it set up. So, the other thing you made mention about was code enforcement, and I can't encourage you enough. All the professions that are in the area or building, electricians, plumbers, anybody in that kind of area, they all have a state license and certified. Builders don't.
Right.
And there's a problem there because you'll get people that'll run into, well, that structure isn't right, et cetera. But it passed the code enforcement office. So those guys have really got to be spot on or know what the building codes are. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a similar question, code enforcement. Many of the towns, you think, show some interest?
They do, and it's not always to replace their code enforcement officers and the code programs that they already have in place. A lot of, Southern Maine does have a lot of building development offices that have multiple staff members in it. I think where we saw most interest was in building capacity, right? Mm-hmm. If you have one code enforcement officer, they're out, you have, a bunch of program or projects in your community being developed, where can we help, add capacity by having somebody who might be available to come and take part of the code enforcement officer's workload from them. And, for a lot of the, for LPIs, electrical inspectors, and MUBEC kind of building codes people, they do have to get some specific training to enforce those codes. And so if you can take at least that one aspect off of a code enforcement officer's plate who might be thinking about shoreline zoning and all the different, local ordinances, it might help.
we haven't figured out exactly how it look, because we also do need to have our own, stability in our department. We can't just fill in, when somebody wants, right? Or because you could have a request for 3 people at the same time and not have the capacity and have no requests at some time. So we'd have to make sure that it works.
I think part of the problem is inconsistency from town to town. And even back when I sold building materials, ran lumberyards, one town would say one thing and one town would say another. And I know Jean Marie's gonna say, well, that's Wyndham, but.
No, I wasn't.
This is why I'm sitting here, stop it, you two.
But when I built my in-law apartment, so-called apartment, I had it on my old house, and my daughter lives in the other half, 5 years ago. But the code enforcement officer and the assistant code enforcement officer said, was 2 different statements.
Oh, jeez.
One guy said I couldn't have this, and the other guy says, well, he's gotta show me in the ordinance why you can't have it. But I had to go with the head honcho, so I had to do what he said. But that's, I think, maybe if nothing else, we can get into a lot of training of officers and train these guys how to be consistent, because they all use the same code. They all use the code they're supposed to use, but.
You hope.
That's the problem.
I mean, the code they're supposed to use. I used to, when I was last my days of building, there was an inspector in one of the towns out in the district, in his district actually. And the inspector walked in and I told the contractor, I says, I've heard rumors. All you gotta do is make your stairs exactly correct. And I says, that's all he'll check. He walked in, he measured the stairs, what a beautiful home, and walked out. And he didn't look at another thing.
Yeah.
That happens consistently in these smaller towns, and so if we could help even that up.
Right, well, a regional code, that could be a benefit of a regional code service, right? Is creating some standard interpretations of the law that apply across municipalities. I would be curious on whether the state would have any interest in that kind of reporting information, right? And there could be cost savings, but there could also be these other benefits to providing a regional code services where you have, one specific highly trained individual or group of individuals that are doing the same inspections across municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting if you did a survey of our communities to see that they all have the same code.
Well, and MUBEC is, state, right, and so is the local plumbing.
No.
And it's subject to amendment from town council to town.
And the other issue I find as a professional out trying to find code people to ask questions or to pull, because as a realtor, I'm required to go and pull code files and make sure things have been permitted and whatever, and I'd hate to tell you what % of the time there's no permits anywhere and no one to talk to. But it'd be great to be able to fill in those holes even, because there are some towns I can only go, we're only open Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 1 or whatever,
9 to 9:30.
Yeah, or whatever, yeah. So I think that's awesome, and is any feedback I can help you with or anything, let us know, yeah.
Yes, Clay.
2 things about varying interpretations. There was a woman in Portland whose name escapes me completely, except it might have been Marge Muckle, who was the chief in the planning department, and she, you would walk in with the code and say, here's what I got, and I can't do this, but is there any way around it? And Marge would say, well, the city lost a lawsuit about that 7 years ago, and yeah, you can do that, fine, and I'll sign right off on it. So there's a lot out there that isn't clear. You are required to get certain permits, but sometimes if you're actually changing something that's adjacent, you're not responsible just for what you're doing, but for complementing what has already occurred. So it's a very complex area, and I think it's a great idea to try to have a wider understanding and probably a more complete understanding of how that all works. The second thing, and I think it's very timely, because there's something called ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units, which have the functional capability to double or triple the density of any single-family home lot, except those that have private covenants that prevent that. In 2025, in Maine, the percentage of ADU applications compared to all applications was 9%. The planning people project that within 3 to 5 years, we will reach the same levels as other places which have faced a substantial shortage of housing, most notably California, frankly. Their percentage is 25%. And those are completely different statewide mandated prohibitions of certain restrictions and how to apply those and when they can apply and how they interface with local ordinances remains to be understood. And as well, it is already true that in the last, I believe, 4 years, we have had 3 different ADU laws passed by the legislature. So, and they all pound on top of each other. It's a good way to make a living, probably, for the next 5 years to know a lot about that, because
one of the things, so I think you're talking about like LD 2003 and its subsequent amendments. One of the things that one of the subsequent amendments does is it prohibits planning board review of certain developments, which is what really spurred this conversation about supporting code enforcement officers. Because if municipalities aren't allowed to shift things, development review to planning boards, it means that the code enforcement officer is going to have to review a lot more development than what they might have otherwise in the past. So that was actually one of the bases for trying to offer these services as well.
It was hair on fire.
which raises the question, when you decide the code enforcement officer is wrong and you want to appeal it, do you go to the planning board? Probably not. You probably go to the Board of Zoning Appeals and off to the courts after that.
Well, I'll just say thank you for boldly going where no person has gone before.
I hope you come back.
All kidding aside, it's definitely it's an animal and a beast that we need to investigate. But I appreciate just the idea of needs assessment. Look to see where can we go as a county, how can we support our towns and cities, and if there's areas where we can grow some internal capacity that doesn't pinch us while helping others. I think that's the balance we're trying to strike. So I think getting in there and starting the process is a worthwhile thing to do. So thank you for that, and we'll stay apprised of the efforts that you make. So thank you. Do you want to speak as you're here as a director? Do you have any updates at all?
No, the current events I spoke about, just like the upcoming events, I wanted everybody to know about, and just some of the improvements that we made. I talked a little bit about. So I'm looking forward to see how this current fiscal year wraps up with the additional Mariners games. The AEW wrestling was not budgeted, so that's going to positively impact us. And the MMA, lights go out on me. The MMA event
Fast enough.
Was also unbudgeted, so we have the 2 sporting events and then the additional Mariner events. Just excited to see where that lands at the end of this fiscal, and how it is going to hopefully, be a great segue into 2026 and 7.
Great, excellent. So we can put side bets in if we're going to get to the black or the red or where we're at. Great, thank you very much for that. Jim, would you like to finish it off?
Boy, I don't have anything all that exciting from the last 2 speakers here. I just want to let the commissioners know of the follow-up from our special meeting back on May 4th, May 7th? May 7th, I think it was, where you amended the budget. And part of the amendment of the budget was to recognize the state legislature money that was coming in. At that point, we did not know whether the money was going to go through this year's formula or the formula after July 1st. And so we had estimated that we were going to be receiving $740,000 from that $4 million that was given statewide. We had asked for the commissioners to put $420,000 into the MAT program to fund it for FY27. Then we asked for $320,000 into capital, and that the capital could either go up or down depending upon how the formula all flushed out. Well, today we participated in the MACAM meeting, in which the MACAM meeting is MCCEA, but the managers And they reported out that the money was going to flow through this year's formula. So that's going to mirror what we received back in November for one-time money. So that was approximately $789,000. So I just want to inform the commissioners that that 320 capital was a plus or minus, and anything different would impact that capital. We would be adding another $49,000 to that capital line for a total of $369 going into capital. So just wanted to be transparent and update you all on that. And I don't think we need to do anything further other than just letting you all know about it. And that is all I have this evening.
Good news. Ending on a good news.
More is always better.
Yeah. Commissioners, we have executive meetings to go into, but do you have comments that you'd like to share?
None from me, except to note that the farmer's market is now open.
Okay, that's good to know. Awesome. Anyone else? Yes.
Just a quick one. Jimmy mentioned it earlier, but Mike and his crew have done a heck of a job over there.
Yeah.
I know when we interviewed Mike, 4.5 years ago for the manager's job, I only made one comment, and he knows what it is. And he's been very successful at it for 4 years, and I'm extremely pleased the way things run over there.
Very good.
Great.
Nice. Excellent. Well deserved, Mike. Anyone else? Yes.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I thought you were going to executive session. I was gonna
Commissioner
bounce.
comments first and then
Okay,
executive.
sorry. The one comment I make here, and I probably put it out to the public, is that in EMA certifications, there is a requirement that they have a certain amount of training time with a medical profession. And generally that takes place in the hospitals. That has stopped. So for our EMAs that are out there or that are trying to get certified, they're essentially stymied now. And I guess what I ask is that if you know anybody that's on either a hospital board or one of the officials there, that you ask them if they would please take a look at that so that it can reinstitute it. Because otherwise, we're not going to get certified EMAs.
Okay. I've got someone who's going through clinicals who's an EMA student. They're doing it. Are you saying it stopped? I don't understand.
They're getting it. Where are they getting it?
They're going to Maine Med?
Then I have to take it back because I was informed that that
Okay.
had stopped.
Okay. Maybe it's just really trickled down or something. I don't know. Or who knows? Okay. Any, no? Okay. There's no other commissioner comments. Thanks for joining us tonight, Mike.
Thank you.
So, we now are gonna look for a motion to go in executive session. I'll read that and then we'll put it on the floor. That's item 26-057. That's the county commissioners will go into executive session in accordance with 1 MRSA section 405 6A, and that's for the review of the county manager's contract, and also for 1 MRSA section 405 6C, that's for the discussion of acquisition and disposal of real property. Can I have a motion, please?
So, second.
Excellent. So we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll be now going into executive session.